Do you like traveling? I'm Bella, and today I want to invite you to Rio de Janeiro with me. Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats, we're taking off. I turned on my ebook and got immersed in a novel as soon as we got on the plane. I was a huge romantic and couldn't live without books and movies about love. I'd never dated anyone, but believed that my perfect hero was out there somewhere, and I would know that we were supposed to be together as soon as I met him. It was summer, and I was going to Brazil with my family. My dad was a businessman, and it sometimes felt like he loved his job more than he loved me. And that lady with terrible makeup was my stepmother, Dorothy. Dad wanted me to call her Mom. Not for the world. I'd rather eat a cactus. As you might have guessed, my stepmother and I fought like cats and dogs. Even though Dorothy pretended to love me, I was sure that she secretly wanted me to disappear and leave her and Dad alone. Soon, we landed in Rio de Janeiro and immediately checked into a luxury hotel. There was a tennis court and a huge swimming pool there. Wow! My room had a window facing the beach. I was over the moon and hoped it would be the best holidays of my life. But Dad just had to ruin everything. I hadn't even unpacked yet when he admitted that it was actually a business trip for him, and he would be spending most of the time working in a business center. Great. Besides, this way, you girls will get to spend some quality time together. Well, I was no longer excited. I would have to spend the holidays with my stepmother, and Dad was ditching me again. The next day, Dorothy and I went for a walk around the city. I wanted to see the world-famous statue, but my stepmother dragged me to boutiques instead. She was a huge shopaholic. I quickly got tired of following Dorothy around and sneaked away to go on a walk alone. Rio de Janeiro was gorgeous. I wandered the streets with my mouth wide open and took photos of everything. But then, I suddenly realized that I was lost. Oh, it seemed I was in a bad neighborhood. I decided to ask a random passerby for directions. The guy smirked, snatched the purse out of my hands, and started running away. Hey, stop! My documents and phone are in there too! I couldn't keep up with him, so I started shouting and waving my arms around. And then, my hero appeared. The guy saw that I was in trouble and rushed after the thief, who freaked out and threw my purse on the ground. The handsome stranger picked it up and handed it to me. This seems to be yours. Here, our fingers accidentally touched, and my heart started pounding. He was my perfect hero. I could feel it. I suddenly felt shy and could only mumble words of gratitude. Thank you. I'm Bella. What a beautiful name. I'm Gabriel. We got to talking, and he offered to walk me to the hotel. But I didn't want to go back to Dorothy. So, Gabriel kindly offered to give me a tour of the city. We spent the rest of the day walking around Rio de Janeiro. We visited a lot of museums, parks, and monuments. Gabriel's English was great because he was planning on going to study in America. So, we understood each other perfectly. I felt so comfortable when I was with him. It was like I had known him forever. When it got dark, Gabriel brought me to a beautiful beach so we could watch the sunset together. Dorothy finally noticed I was gone and started calling me. Ugh, I was so sick of her. I turned off my phone to enjoy the magical moment. Gabriel and I chatted until late at night, and then he leaned in and kissed me. Wow, it was so romantic, like we were in a movie. Then he walked me to the hotel, and we agreed to meet the next day at a cafe. I felt like the heroine of a romance novel. Unfortunately, Dorothy decided to ruin everything and started screaming like a wacko as soon as I walked in. Where were you, and why didn't you answer my calls? Do you know how worried I was? Pfft, you were just worried that Dad would be mad if he found out you lost me. You're not my mother. Quit ordering me around. We had a huge fight. The next morning, while my stepmother was still asleep, I slipped out of my room. As I had nothing better to do, I came to the cafe a little earlier than Gabriel and I had agreed on. I thought I'd wait for him there. Then, I saw my prince with another girl. They were sitting at a table and giggling sweetly. I was gutted. How many girlfriends did Gabriel have? That bastard. I didn't want to look like a naive fool, so I asked the waiter to pretend to be my boyfriend. Hey, Gabriel, I see you're having a great time. I've met someone better than you too, so ciao, it's over. Gabriel's girlfriend blinked in surprise, and he scowled when I kissed the waiter on the cheek. I thought better of you, Bella. Pfft, The nerve of him. I stormed out of the cafe and decided that from then on, I would read no more romance novels. It was all lies. Perfect guys didn't exist. Since Dad was always at work, and Dorothy and I couldn't stand each other, I spent the holidays alone. Strangely enough, from that day on, wherever I went, I ran into Gabriel. And each time, he was accompanied by a new girl. Can you imagine? What a heartbreaker! For example, one day I saw him drinking lemonade with a blonde girl on the beach, and then I saw him with a brunette in a store. When I noticed him with yet another girlfriend, I couldn't stand it any longer and approached him. I'm sick of running into you! And by the way, does she know that you go through girls like they are toys? You're one to talk. I saw you flirting with that guy. Long story short, we had a fight right there in the museum. I couldn't believe I thought Gabriel was special. It was clear he just liked the chase. One day, I realized that I hadn't seen Dad in a while and decided to go to the business center he was always at. But first, I bought us 2 portions of feijoada. That's a popular Brazilian dish. Delicious. But Dad was in a meeting and wasn't happy to see me.
What are you doing here? I thought you and Dorothy were having fun together.
I just missed you.
We'll talk later. I need to work.
Whatever. I angrily rushed out into the hall and pressed the elevator button. When the doors opened and I walked in, I almost growled with anger because I saw Gabriel again. Why are you here? He wasn't happy to see me either and rolled his eyes at me. Then, the elevator suddenly started to shake and the light flickered creepily. And then it stopped. Why were we so unlucky? An employee told us over the speakerphone that he would fix the elevator in an hour. I was stuck there with the most annoying guy in the world. It was the cherry on top of my terrible holidays. Have you been following me?
Yeah, right. I came here to see my father, but he was too busy to talk to me.
Gabriel's stomach rumbled, and I couldn't help but laugh. And then I shared the food I'd brought for Dad with him. I get it. My dad also constantly ignores me and makes me spend time with my stepmother. We settled down on the floor and started chatting to pass the time. Gabriel admitted that he was the eldest child and the only boy in his family. His parents had always been strict with him. By the way, the girls you saw me with, these were all my sisters. He showed me their baby pictures on his phone, and I believed him. What a turn, right? I wanted to explain everything to you, but you kissed that guy in the cafe, and I got mad. I did it to get back at you. I don't even know his name. We laughed because we both acted like jealous fools and fought over a misunderstanding. By the time the elevator was repaired, we had made up. I thought that maybe we were fated to be together, and that was why we kept meeting. The next few days were heaven. Gabriel took me out on dates that were more romantic than anything I'd seen in movies. I wanted to introduce Dad to my boyfriend, but he had to leave town for a few days.
When I get back, we'll go to a cool party my business partner's throwing.
I was in a great mood, so I didn't even get angry. However, what happened the next day really pissed me off. I was going to meet Gabriel, and then I saw Dorothy talking to some man. He handed her a gift box, and Dorothy gratefully kissed him on the cheek. My jaw dropped. How dare she? How can you flirt with some guy behind Dad's back? When he comes back, I'll tell him everything.
Bella, it's not what you're thinking.
I didn't listen to her pathetic excuses and went out to the pool. Gabriel was already waiting for me there. We swam, sunbathed, and had fun. And then, some girl came up to us and started shouting at Gabriel for something. He grabbed her by the hand and took her aside. I didn't hear what they were talking about, but it was clear that they were arguing. Then, Gabriel came back to me and sighed guiltily. Oh, I'm sorry, Bella. This is one of my sisters, Maria. She needs my help, so I need to go. I'll see you tonight, okay? He blew me a kiss and ran away, but we didn't see each other that evening. Gabriel texted me that he was still busy. That was unfortunate, but I decided not to throw a fit. A little later, Dorothy told me dinner was ready. She wanted to discuss what I had seen, but I ignored her and watched movies in my room all evening. The next day, I called Gabriel and invited him to the party with me. But my boyfriend had more important things to do once again. He said that he also had to go to some event with his father. Soon, my dad came back home and I decided to make him see Dorothy for who she really was. I told him my stepmother had flirted with another man and accepted a gift from him. Dorothy immediately burst into tears.
Bella, why won't you give me a chance? I'm really trying to be your friend.
She said that the man was a fashion designer she knew. He created a couture dress for me at her request. Dorothy took out the box he'd given her and handed it to me.
I wanted you to wear it to the party.
Wow, that dress was stunning! I felt embarrassed because I had acted like a child and hadn't even given Dorothy a chance to explain. I apologized to her and even hugged her timidly. Actually, Dorothy was all right. Could it be that I was wrong about her? You'll never be my mom, Dorothy, but all that matters is that you and Dad make each other happy.
I'm glad you're finally getting along. I'm sorry for being so busy lately. I want you to want for nothing. Now, get ready. We should go to the party.
Soon, we arrived at a posh house. It was full of people. And then, I saw familiar faces among the guests. Gabriel's sisters. I wondered what they were doing there. I wanted to come over and say hello, but Dad called me over.
Bella, honey, meet my business partner and the host of this party. And these are his daughters.
Gabriel's sisters came up to us.
Wait, was I in my boyfriend's house? What a surprise!
It turned out that our fathers worked together. And then, Gabriel himself came up to us. He saw me and his eyes bulged out.
Meet my heir, Gabriel. And this is his fiancée, Maria.
Then, the man pointed at the girl I had seen shouting at Gabriel by the pool. Maria came up to my boyfriend and hugged him. I was about to go ballistic. What was the meaning of this? Had Gabriel lied to me about his sisters? I felt sick and ran out into the street. Gabriel hurried after me, but I didn't want to see that liar or hear what he had to say. I shouldn't have given him a second chance. I texted Dad that I had a headache and went back to the hotel. I didn't leave my room or answer Gabriel's calls for the rest of the holidays. Dad and Dorothy were there for me, but I was still miserable. Finally, it was time for us to go home. We were putting our suitcases into a taxi when Dad said that someone wanted to say goodbye to me. I turned around and saw Gabriel.
Bella, I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth. My parents and Maria's parents always wanted us to be together and decided we should get married. But Maria has always been like a sister to me. I fell head over heels in love with you at first sight. If we could start all over again.
No, Gabriel, I don't believe you anymore. Goodbye. I got into the taxi and soon we were back in America. I felt empty. I'd never been so sad before. Neither my favorite movies nor the support of Dad and Dorothy helped. One day, Maria video called me. I was very surprised, but decided to hear her out. Where did you get my number? I found it on your social media. I overheard you and Gabriel talking by the taxi. At first, I was mad when I found out that he didn't feel anything for me. But then, I realized that the heart wants what it wants. Gabriel fell in love with you, and it was wrong of our parents to make us date each other. So, I asked Dad to call off our wedding. Gabriel and I deserve to be with people we choose ourselves. We chatted for a long time. Maria turned out to be a cool girl. Now, I believe that Gabriel had been telling me the truth back then. But our relationship was doomed anyway because we lived in different countries. So, I decided to try to forget him. I went back to school and found out that an exchange student from another country had been transferred to our class. My heart started pounding. Had fate given Gabriel and me another chance? I held my breath as I walked into the classroom and saw the new student, but it wasn't Gabriel, but a complete stranger. I sighed in frustration. Life was different from novels, and miracles didn't happen. I went home right after school that day. Dad and Dorothy called me into the living room and said they had a surprise for me. I looked around but didn't see anything. And then someone came behind me and covered my eyes.
Guess who?
I couldn't believe it! I recognized that voice! Gabriel, what are you doing here?
You didn't think you could get rid of me that easily, did you?
We hugged, and then I found out that Gabriel's parents had agreed that they should not choose his girlfriend for him and let him go to America like he'd always wanted. Gabriel called my dad and arranged the surprise. Can you imagine? I almost burst into tears with happiness. Now we would live in the same city. It seems that our story is just beginning. It was an incredible adventure. I know now that there is more to love than just romantic gestures. You need to fight for any relationship you want to keep. If you do that, nothing will be able to stop you from being together. What do you think? Tell us in the comments down below, and don't forget to like this video.